This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Ben Armstrong, the wealth coach, investor, and cryptocurrency enthusiast. You are the founder of BitBoy Crypto, a YouTube channel with over 1 million followers, and are recognized as one of the leading voices in the crypto industry. You first bought Bitcoin back in 2012, and 2 years later, lost your investments in the Mt. Gox scandal. Since then, you've dedicated your time and energy to ensure people don't make the same mistakes, with the aim to, quote, financially change the lives of all of your subscribers. Today, we will discuss everything crypto, including the recent volatile markets, your ideas on investment opportunities, and all things DeFi or decentralized finance, which I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Ben, welcome to London Real.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Quite an intro there. Very excited anytime I can talk about crypto. And, there are certain times and moments that, it kind of all comes full circle, and definitely a fan of your show, and glad to be on here and be able to help your audience understand my journey and, hopefully maybe starting a journey of their own.
I love it. And Ben, I love your videos. You have a great way of conveying complex information in a simple form. And I appreciate everything you do. You're actually a great educator. And I want to talk more about how you do that. And it's been incredible to watch you. I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed with kind of my journey, and then I can tell you how we're going to kind of meet in the middle here with London Real and crypto, because it'll probably give you a little bit of background as far as what's in my head. And again, I also appreciate your honesty and your story. We both have gone down some dark roads of addiction and recovery, and we both told those stories, and I appreciate that. And maybe we'll get into that later too. So sure. Quick background on me, and I don't usually start the show by talking about me, but I'll do it in this case. For the last 10 years, I've been the host of London Real. Before that, I actually worked as a banker in the centralized finance world. I was 15 years between Wall Street. I worked in Chicago, and I worked in London in the credit derivatives markets. So I've kind of been there and done that since the early 90s. I put all that on hold to do London Real, which, 10 years ago, I went all in on this kind of democratizing of information space. I was a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. I was on his show back in 2013, and I kind of did my own thing in London. And through the course of having conversations with interesting people, Ben, I started hearing about the word crypto, and I had people on. So back in 2013, I had crazy Max Kaiser come on my show, and we had an epic conversation about Bitcoin. I had just bought 2 Bitcoin. I just watched the old episode. I paid 85 pounds each, so about $100 each. And Ben, I spent them on the Silk Road. I'll be honest about that. Yeah. And I know you say that that's one of the reasons that saves, and was a use case for Bitcoin, and we'll get into that. Yeah. But we had a great discussion with Max. And of course, Max was all in on Bitcoin. He still is. But it was an episode, and it was something we talked about. And then, of course, I played around the Silk Road, and then, life went on. And I was lucky enough to have Andreas Antonopoulos, Bitcoin Jesus, on the show. Mm-hmm. And he came on 2015, 2017, 2019. And Ben, he was an incredible guy at the time to really be able to articulate, cryptocurrency, but also what it could become, a really good evangelist. And it's interesting when you watch those episodes now, he was actually articulating what DeFi is, but back then it was what it could become.
Absolutely.
And he's got a great little video I keep playing to a lot of my followers and students where he says, Brian, he said, if Bitcoin is email, then what I'm talking about is the internet of money. And he said, basically, when you have a new system and there's only one app like email, I got my first email account when I went to MIT in 1989. And I think I emailed my brother who was at Stanford, and then I didn't use it for 5 more years. And I thought, oh, that's the internet. Of course, when all we could see was Bitcoin, it was like, well, you got this thing, but we couldn't see it was other things. And then Andreas said, when we saw a web browser, we said, oh, it's more than that. And I feel like that analogy is kind of what DeFi is. And I want to get into that. So that was my experience with it. But again, I couldn't see it happening, and I was doing other things. Last year in 2020, we spent pretty much the whole year fighting for freedom of speech. We went head to head with this incredible platform called YouTube, which we both have millions of subscribers on. Yeah. And I disagreed with some of their censorship. We got shut down by social media platforms. I got shut down by PayPal. We got, really taken all the way to the wall. But we kept fighting back, and we put out 57 episodes on our own digital freedom platform. And it was a serious fight, but we felt great about it. After that, I spent the last 9 months running to be the next mayor of London. And so we spent millions of pounds. We drove 5,700 miles to a digital battle bus. We did about 100 pieces of media. I went after the candidates like nobody's business, but we didn't win. And in the corner of my eye for the last few months, I started looking at DeFi, Ben, and I said, wow, something crazy is happening here. And it's the innovation that I hadn't seen since I traded derivatives in the 90s. And we put these complicated financial exotic instruments together and packaged them up as options trades and all these things. And I thought, wow, look what these guys are doing. And the things that are happening in DeFi, it took 10 years for Wall Street to create what DeFi can do in 10 months or even 10 weeks. And the rate of innovation it's exponential and in some ways almost frightening. So again, that's my new perspective. And so I decided 4 weeks ago, I'm going all in on DeFi, like I went all in 10 years ago on YouTube and broadcasting. So for the next 10 years, I'm all in on this space. We created a DeFi Academy. And right now I've got hundreds of students right now that I'm getting up the education curve through practical action. That's what we're a big fan of here, actually putting on the trades and really experiencing what's it like. So that's my quick background. I know you say there's two camps out there. There's the Bitcoin maximalists, there's the DeFi evangelists. I guess it's obvious which one I am, but that's my story. First of all, I was wondering, maybe you could tell us your story and then any thoughts on that whole monologue I just gave you.
Well, my first thought is you went to Wall Street and all you came back with was that suit. Is that right? That looks like a Wall Street suit. I love it. It's sharp. I need to get me one of those.
It's funny. I didn't actually dress this when I was working in London. I did this after I got the show. But yeah, it's a good point. I used to joke that the banks actually financed London Real in the first few years because I was living off my savings. So much to their chagrin, it was. DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. This is a $9 trillion per year marketplace. I want to talk about our brand new DeFi Academy. Our first program is called the DeFi Accelerator, and we have been absolutely inundated with applications from around the world. I'm going to be talking about how you can profit from what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Decentralized finance is already revolutionizing the world of finance. You just don't know it yet. I'm going to talk about the difference between DeFi and cryptocurrencies. There's a big difference. I want to go into how to trade the markets. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes emotional discipline. It takes intelligence. It's not an easy thing to do. I'm looking for a small group of people who want to actively participate in this upcoming DeFi revolution. I'm looking for serious individuals only with real net worth who want to build this exciting financial infrastructure. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, investors, colleagues who want to join forces and create real value and generational wealth. If you're one of those people, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi and submit your application. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. You have a chance now to join me on this incredible adventure for the next 10 years. It will change your life, the lives of your children and grandchildren, maybe the life of billions of people on this planet. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?